Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another episode of In Depth with David. This is Team USA Basketball Recap number 2. We will actually be recapping the third official game for Team USA. We apologize, just schedule complications between me and Carter, mainly on my end. Just been a crazy week for me. But if you didn't know, Team USA beat Iran. I don't remember the final score, but in that game, I'm pretty sure it was convincingly too. They blew them out.
Against Iran, yeah. Well, I can look at the score.
But we will be talking about the game that just happened this morning at 8 a.m. between Team USA and the Czech Republic, which was another convincing win for Team USA.
Yeah.
And we're just going to get into it. And once again, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host Carter. Carter, thanks for doing this with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Davey. Doing absolutely wonderful. A nice early game. Did not get to catch it, but we got the highlights. We got the nice third-party highlights on YouTube that we got to watch.
Yeah, shout out to whoever made the highlights this time around, because when I tried to watch it for the first game, it was like some bootleg highlights, very pixelated stuff, only 5 minutes of footage. But this time it was a full 8 minutes, and it was only I think 9x12 footage, or it was essentially a short but for 9 minutes long. But hey, good footage, and shout out to whoever made that, because it helped out a lot.
Oh yeah, it was funny to watch the score just absolutely increase insanely in the third and fourth quarter, I should say. It was just all of a sudden, it was just the gap just kept going and going, because the highlights just kept showing the baskets. It showed no dribble up the court. It just showed just them scoring everything. So it was so quick. It was funny to watch. I feel like a slideshow.
Sussy, who needs to talk to you, Carter?
Hello there.
I'll be messenger.
It better be basketball related.
So where should we start with this game? Because one of our favorite players and our favorite team in the NBA, Jason Tatum, had an excellent game this morning. Are you still surprised that he's coming off the bench? I guess we can start there. I know Popovich has made some lineup adjustments because Zach LaVine is now on the bench, and Devin Booker, as we predicted, is in the lineup after, getting a couple games or so just to dust off the cobwebs and rest him after a tough finals run. So now he's also in the starting five. But are you kind of surprised that Tatum hasn't been promoted yet? Because they're still giving him 24, 30 minutes off the bench, and he's showing up. But I thought by now he'd be in the starting five.
Definitely looking at the minutes, it feels like he should be in the starting five, because we got Devin Booker with 10 minutes and he's in the starting lineup. Do you think they're just going to ease him in with minutes? It seems like no games and just 10 minutes.
That's really weird to me that he has 10 minutes. And that also goes back to what happened with LaVine in the first game that they lost to France, where they only gave him 18 minutes and he was in the starting lineup. I don't really know why Popovich is doing it. I mean, it's worked for the last couple of games, but I don't know. I mean, why not just put Tatum there? I mean,
Popovich is such a weird coach. It seems like.
Really what difference does it make if you're playing Tatum 24 minutes off the bench or 24 minutes in the starting five? But
Zach Middleton. Zach LaVine's got 20 minutes. Chris Middleton, 23 minutes. Draymond Green hit it. He was hitting the shots last night. He didn't miss a single shot. I feel like he played really well. But no, the thing that surprised me the most was Devin Booker with 10 minutes. He wasn't playing bad. He just 5 points. I mean, 3 turnovers actually.
He looks a little bit out of his element in there. He only got 3 shots, and I don't know if it's just, again, fatigue from the NBA Finals, but he just hasn't really been able to get into rhythm in this Olympic run so far. And I don't think he'd regret playing in this, but I feel like maybe just it being such a quick turnaround and just ruling out a 90-game season, 100-game season, whatever you want to call it, it's doing a number on him for sure. But at the same time, you have people like Drew Holiday, who continues to contribute. He also got promoted to the starting lineup, and in 20 minutes, he had 11 points. And Curtis Middleton off the bench at 23 minutes and 8 points. He hit a couple threes. So it's probably just some fatigue, honestly, from Booker. And as we said, that's expected for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Drew Holiday getting into the starting lineup, that was definitely a good choice. You can definitely count on him for at least like 10 points. Like even though he scored like 11 points, like it's not a bad night, but like for him, for scoring, that's a little bit of a bad night because the first game it was 23. I think he scored. I don't. Let me check the against Iran. I don't remember.
He had at least
scored.
18.
At least 18, yeah.
Yep. And he came alive late. And I think that was a good move by Popovich to realize, like, okay, this might be a hidden gem, so why not give him more minutes? And it's paying off. But going back to Tatum, I mean, let's just talk about him for a little bit because we'll get to Durant too. But Tatum, big reason why Team USA won this game this morning, especially in the second half. Seemed like he couldn't miss a shot. He was just automatic. Yeah. And this goes back to what we were talking about, not only on Spotify Green Room, but on the recap that we did, where you just ride the hot hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Great things are going to happen. And that's what happened with Tatum.
Yeah, it seems like they gave him a lot more shots than everybody else. So maybe Popovich is finally letting the players be the players and coach themselves. Maybe he's taking a step back a little bit because they were just feeding Jason Tatum, and like rightfully so, he was making all the shots, 10 for 16 for the field goal range, 3-pointers, like 50%, 5 for 10. That's really good for Jason Tatum. I feel like he's not the greatest 3-point shooter, but I mean, like 50%, 5 for 10, I think that's really good for him.
For sure. That's an excellent game for him because, as we all know, especially from these last couple of seasons, he's become an excellent scorer in the NBA, but his efficiency hasn't been the best. But him shooting over 50% is extremely impressive, and he's a big reason why this game is put on ice in the second half, and a reason why this game didn't get away from the U.S. in the first half when the Czech Republic jumped out to a big lead.
Yeah, I saw the lead when the lead was getting a little bit too high with the Czech Republic. I think it only went up by 9. Was like the most they went up.
10.
But 10.
But
and
9, 10.
Yeah. Gonna make sure we got our facts right. But it kind of scared me a little bit, but it just slowly just diminished. Like it just went to 0. The lead, the U.S. came back, and it felt good. It felt good to watch. Definitely, they've improved, but I'm scared of the other teams they would go up against. Because I mean, these teams, they haven't been great teams. Like they're not bad teams, but no players in the U.S. I mean, how good can a team really be? You know what I mean? So it was a good win against Iran. But can't get too comfortable, you know. I hope they don't get too comfortable from this.
Right, we're in a groove. We've won 2 games in a row pretty convincingly, but you know, I'm not wowed by what's happened because it took really until the third quarter for them to pull away in this game. And yeah, we got into a rhythm with the whole win over Iran a couple days ago, but is this really surprising anyone? Instead of going 2-1, this Team USA should have gone 3-0 in these first 3 games. So, you know, there's still a little bit of a cause of concern, but you can tell that we're starting to finally, hopefully, turn a corner with Team USA. And it's just, thank God that they qualified for the quarterfinals, because if we didn't even make it past this round, that you know, never would have heard the end of that. Big,
embarrassing,
very big disappointment for this country if that were to happen. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. And did you happen to hear what Popovich said after the game talking about Tatum's performance?
I did not. What did he say?
He told Tatum, he said, just act like you're playing against the Spurs, because it seems like whenever we play Jason Tatum, he always scores 90 against us, which is a reference to April. It was at the end of April when Tatum had a game against the Spurs where he went off for 60.
Oh my God. That must not feel good for Popovich to just watch him go off.
Yeah, I'm sure Popovich freaked out on his players after that one, because not only did they let Tatum go off for 60, Carter, but they also blew a 32-point lead.
Wow, I did not know about that. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Well, Lori Blocks, welcome to the stream. Appreciate the support. Yeah, no, it's always great to see Tatum dominating for sure. And I'm glad to see him shine and get some shots in the Olympics, because I think we talked about this on our first recap, how it seems like they were kind of taking shots away from him, or not, you know, sharing the ball, I guess, or sharing the rock across the whole team. But it's just great to see the team and Popovich and the coaching staff have trust in Tatum and just be willing to give him as many shots as possible when he keeps hitting them. Yeah,
the fact that, hey, what's up, Lucids? The fact that Popovich, like, trust him as that guy over someone like Durant or Damian Lillard in like games like that. So that's a really good sign for Jason Tatum. It definitely gives me a lot of hope for these upcoming games that maybe they'll just keep feeding him the ball because, I mean, Durant, Damian Lillard, like they're playing well, but give it to Jason Tatum. He's playing better. He's just playing better at the end of the day. Or even Drew Holiday. Maybe focus on those players more.
And finally, Pop is just, realizing, okay, let's just let these players do their things and good things will happen. But
exactly,
it also can't hurt when players finally hit their shots and, we don't shoot like under 50%. Like this game, we shot 60% from the field, 48% from three, and 75% from the line. So, I mean, good things are going to happen. You're probably going to win when you have that stat line.
Exactly. So, yeah, we see what happens if they shoot well, but when they shoot poorly, we also see what happens. The games just do not go well. But, okay, this is completely off topic, but I just got reminded of the Russell Westbrook trade.
How do you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that. How do you feel about that?
It's a really weird trade because I don't know how it's going to work with the Lakers because Westbrook, that starting lineup is not necessarily Westbrook, Tatum Horton Tucker, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and potentially Andre Drummond. That's like just a weird lineup. I don't know how else to call it. Like, none of them are amazing perimeter shooters. Like, obviously, LeBron can hit a two-pointer. AD can hit the perimeter shots. And they're going to get a ton of rebounds, and they're going to put up amazing stats. I don't think there's going to be any question about team basketball. Like, I know there was the whole meme when Westbrook was playing with Harden that they were going to, they like pulled up a 2K clip and saying, like, live look at Harden and Russell Westbrook when they both have 10 assists, and it's both of them just passing the ball back to each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen with the Lakers. I think the team basketball is going to be off the charts because you have two of the people in the NBA and Westbrook and LeBron who are two of the smartest players in the league in terms of IQ. So I think that's going to be a great fit. But yeah, shooting is going to be an issue for sure because none of them can consistently hit three-pointers, but the stats are going to be off the charts. And I think it'd be cool if LeBron can help his close friend, Russell Westbrook, win a ring. I don't want to see it happen because, as we talked about, I'm just sick and tired of seeing LeBron in the finals. But we'll see what happens with Westbrook. This has been a crazy few years for him. This is his third team now in 3 seasons. So a lot of turnover for him, but he gets to play for his hometown team and the Lakers. So hopefully he can ball out because I'm rooting for him. I think he gets a lot of hate, and he's still a great player.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those players that, along with Chris Paul, I feel like deserve one ring before the end of their careers. But that Lakers team, that is scary. That is a pretty scary team the more I think about it. Because even though the shooting's going to be poor, probably really bad. Like your best shooter on the team is LeBron. It's going to be pretty bad. But they're still going to put up insane numbers. Like you said, they're going to be an insane rebounding team, insane paint scoring team. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's just not going to matter that they can't shoot. They're just, I could just see them just escalating to the top of the West already. I don't want to predict it too early, but I feel like they're just guaranteed to come out of the West at this point. They're better than every team there, on paper at least.
Certainly helps them. It's better than, no disrespect to this person, but having Dennis Schroeder at point guard. Definitely going to be better, or hopefully work out better for the Lakers. Shouldn't say hopefully. I hope the Lakers go 0-82, go Celtics all the way. But, it is what it is. As for what the Wizards got, I really don't think this trade makes any sense for them because they got someone in Kyle Kuzma who I'm personally really high on. I know a lot of NBA fans hate on him for whatever reason, but I think he's a very solid role player. I think the take of him being better than Tatum a couple years ago was absolutely ridiculous. And anyone who said that deserves to get flamed, but I think he's still a solid player. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is just, a bench piece. He's not going to do much for you. He was overpaid. And I mean, it is what it is. And then I forget, Montrezl Harrell is still, I think, pretty solid. I think his best years with the Clippers. I don't think he did that great with the Lakers last year. So he could probably end up being the prize for the Wizards in this trade. And then you get a first rounder, but we know that's going to be in the end of the first round because it's excuse me, it's the end of the Lakers, or it's the Lakers pick, so it's going to be at the end of the first round. But I don't really get the trade for the Wizards unless they're just, waving the white flag and just going to blow everything up, because is Bradley Beal going to want to play with all these guys? I don't think so. So it looks like in DC, we're heading for a full rebuild, if you ask me. But why would you? I don't think these are pieces to build around unless they're just like salary dumps at the end of the year in Kuzma, KCP, and Harrell. But what do I know?
I feel like the Wizards, I don't know. Thinking about it, when I first saw the trade, I thought, wow, the Wizards they just held the L and they're just giving up Westbrook. They just like, all right, get him out of here. We can't do anything with this. But I don't know. What if I thought Bradley Beal was going to sign with the Lakers, or that he was going to go to the Lakers? But I mean, where's he going to go now? Where would the Celtics? Where do you think he would go? Because if the Wizards got just like a bunch of, I forget what the trade package was that was proposed, or like that was going around with the Celtics and Bradley Beal. But do you think the Wizards would make the playoffs still with just all those role players? Or do you think that would just, because that's like, I feel like that's play-in tournament still in the East. Like that team still would make probably the playoffs, I think.
I think they'll make that. They'll definitely be in the play-in tournament mix. I think they'll be either the 9th or the 10th team. So in the East. So they'll be on the outside looking in. Because Bradley Beal is just that great of a player that I think he can do something like he can put all these players on his back and bring them to 9th or 10th in the league and leave it all up to the play-in tournament to see if they can go on a little run and punch their ticket into the actual playoffs. But this is not a team that I envision Bradley Beal wanting to stay on long term, because they really don't have any vision. I thought they could have made something out of a pretty solid, underrated backcourt in Beal and Westbrook. I know a lot of people say it didn't work out. Their play styles weren't going to help or weren't going to work together, because in their games this year, it seemed like when one person went off, the other player struggled. But I thought they could have built something. I think Bradley Beal, it seems like he's going to stick it out for the rest of this year and then probably leave in free agency. But I'd be shocked to see him stay in the nation's capital long term. And I would love if he comes to the Celtics. I'm hearing the Celtics, the Heat, and the Warriors are 3 top options. The Celtics, I would imagine, make perfect sense because obviously him and Tatum are childhood friends. And if we wait a year, we'll be able to clear up cap space. We'll have to make a few moves. I don't think we can re-sign. If we want Beal, we have to let Marcus Smart and Robert Williams go next year, which is going to be tough. But if you can get a big 3 of Bradley Beal, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown in a year, I say you do it.
That's really good. That's a really good team. That's top of the East, at least.
And I think his wife, Bradley Beal's wife, is from out west, so the Warriors make sense. And then Miami, I mean, who doesn't want to play with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo? So
exactly.
I think he'll go to one of those 3 teams, but, next year's free agency is going to be just as interesting because unless the Wizards trade Bradley Beal, it seems like he'll stay here for the whole season, and then we'll await his decision next summer, which will be crazy to follow for sure. And I hope it ends up with him bleeding green come next July.
Hopefully, but also other things and other NBA news, the draft as well I feel like, honestly, I really didn't know that many players in the draft. I really only knew like at least 4 or 5 maybe of the top 10 players that were drafted. And I did hear though that the Lakers got somebody good. Who did the Lakers draft?
You're asking the wrong person, unfortunately.
Really?
I did not pay attention to the draft too much.
Neither did I. I'll be honest. I really didn't.
This is the first year I just wasn't really that excited because there was no marketable big guy. I liked Anthony Edwards. I thought he was a funny dude. Zion, I mean, heck,
exactly.
ESPN didn't go a day without talking about Zion a couple years ago. But I know Cade Cunningham went first overall to the Pistons, but
I've never really seen anything at all like Cade Cunningham. I think the only person I saw a lot from was Jalen Suggs.
I know BJ Boston, Mobley. Obviously, I thought there was a great moment where they honored Terrence Clark, the kid from Duke who passed away a couple months ago. He was from Boston. Easily would have gone in the draft, so that was disappointing. Very sad that he passed away, but an amazing moment for him to be honored and have his family up there on stage with Adam Silver. But it was hard for me to pay attention to the draft. Also, probably just because the Celtics traded away their pick in the first round in the Kemba trade. So, like, to put it bluntly, what do I care?
Exactly. There was really no point of watching it. I kept looking up.
What's going on?
Happy
to have you.
But I kept looking up just every so often. I wasn't playing. I forget what I was doing. I think I was streaming or something. But I kept looking up just at the draft, and nothing was catching my eye. I love when there's just like trades popping up. Just like, oh, what happened here? Whoa, this trade. I remember watching just the most random of trades on draft night. Those are always the best times. But this year, it was just rumors about the Westbrook trade. I felt like the entire time. It wasn't no actual trade. It was just rumors. It was like, oh, this is the proposed, and it's like, all right, how is that even news? Where'd you get the source? Who's the source? Like, how do we know? I never feel like I should believe those ones. I feel like it's always false.
Yeah, it was just, again, hard for me and for you to get into draft night this year. But I'm looking forward to free agency, seeing what happens. And then next season, even though the Celtics aren't going to go anywhere, I think Brad Stevens has done a solid job as GM so far. So we'll see. Hopefully the Celtics can raise Banner 18 sooner rather than later, because you don't want to waste Tatum and Brown's prime years. But we'll go back to Team USA versus Czech Republic, and we'll just start to recap this game. Because in the first quarter, both teams were really struggling. USA, as I mentioned earlier, fell behind by as much as 10 at one point. They let the Czech Republic get a lot of wide open shots. And Thomas Satoransky, who is on Team Czech Republic, is a player on the Bulls right now, I believe. And he was having his way, taking it right at the undersized USA front court. But before the quarter ended, Team USA ended on a little bit of a high note. So they weren't down by too much at the end of one. And, I didn't catch much of the second game against Iran, but in comparison to the first game against France, it just seemed like Team USA was super engaged. They were all jumping up and down. The bench was hyping everyone up on the floor. So you love to see that. It seems like if we were playing NBA 2K, team chemistry would be up like 25%.
Exactly. No, it was nice to see that finally it seems like they're all working together, and they just all are like, all right, we got to win these games. Like, we cannot be losing any of these games. If we lose any of these games, it's disappointing so many people, and it's just they're just taking that to heart. It seems like they're taking those Instagram comments, they're taking all those everything like that, they're taking it all to heart, and it's good to see. It's very good to see.
I just still don't get, going back to the whole minutes thing, the whole rotation that Popovich has is weird. Like, you have a starter, as we talked about, with Devin Booker only playing 10 minutes. You have two bench people in Keldon Johnson, who plays for Pop on the Spurs, and Jerami Grant only playing 4 minutes. And then JaVale McGee also only playing 4 minutes, but he had 10 points in 4 minutes, which we'll get into later. I just hope they figure out this rotation, because I think you can spread the minutes out a bit more.
Yeah, the minutes are really odd. Just giving one player 4 minutes, 24, 4, 23, 15, 4, 20, just off the bench. I really don't understand. At least he's not giving players 30 minutes like he was, I feel like. Did he get? Wait, I feel like.
Durant, Lillard, Tatum, and Middleton all had more than 20 minutes, and Adebayo too. And Zach LaVine, but no one is playing 30 minutes, which is great, because I think you said this in the last recap we did. There's no reason anyone should be playing 30 minutes in an Olympic game.
Yes, I'm glad it's not really getting too close to 30 minutes either. Like Durant and Lillard having 27, 28, understandable. Those players should be the ones that have probably the most points. But give Jason Tatum just give him the most points, honestly, at this point. Like Durant, he's hitting his shots, but Damian Lillard, I feel like he hasn't really been playing the best. Like, he hasn't been playing like bad, but he's just playing pretty average. And I think he's one of the guys that they are relying on to step up, basically. But I mean, so far, with him scoring 8 points, they still win this game by this amount of points, like insane amount of points. And then against Iran, I want to see how many points he had. I think he had 21 points. So, I mean, he had a good game there, but he can be having those 8-point games if they want to win against those teams like Slovenia or Australia, like even Spain, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree with Lillard needing to be better, because especially I watched the highlights of this game, and he was taking like 40-foot threes like he does in the NBA. And if you're hot, please take those a little, because if he's doing NBA Jam heat checks, like I know he can hit those. But
Yeah.
this is not a good game for him for being one of the prize players of this Olympic team. In 27 minutes, he shot 3 for 10, 2 for 8 from 3, and he had 3 fouls. So we need more out of him, because it can't just be Durant and Tatum carrying the crew the whole time.
Yeah, it's those two players are great and all, but I mean, against Slovenia, Luka's just gonna cook up. That's the team I'm the most scared of out of any of the other teams in this entire league. That's the one team I'm scared of.
Is it concerning to you at all that Team USA, especially in this game, got behind pretty early? Because I feel like a lot of us now, after seeing this team dominate in the last couple of games, can just kick back and say, slow start, we're just we're taking it easy on them. We're about to go full try-hard mode and blow them out. Do you think that's concerning? Or do you think it's just more so one of those things where Team USA, we all know what they're capable of, and they could be even down 25 at one point, and we'd still think they could win easily?
Well, I'm hoping that's definitely going to be the fans' mindset, that it was just a rough start. Oh, like now they're back to it was a rocky road at the beginning, but now they're good. I just hope that the team itself doesn't get that mindset, because the further they go down into the divisions, like the harder it's going to get. It's not going to get any easier. They're supposed to win these 3 games. These were supposed to be like their 3 easiest games. I'd probably say, right? I'd say this is probably the 3 easiest games.
Oh, it's only going to get harder from here for sure.
Yeah. So, and they lost one, and they were not supposed to lose that game, but at least they won 2 of them. Like, they're supposed to win 3 of them, but at least they won 2. But I don't know. That shouldn't affect them too much, I don't think, unless they let it get to their heads. But these past 2 games, just watching them like hyping each other up, I'm sure they're all keeping each other grounded, like not letting themselves celebrate too early, pop the bottle too early,
Right. And you never want to keep playing from behind, because you're bound to lose that way. That's just not a good mentality, not a good strategy. So I hope they're able to clean that up, but it does speak to how confident this team can be when they fall behind by double digits early and can just, come back and win by 25. I mean, that's a 35-point swing. So there you have it. But heading into the second quarter, both teams continue to play to their strengths as Czech Republic keeps dominating the U.S. in the paint, and Team USA starts to knock down more threes and perimeter jumpers. And this is where Tatum, who is coming off the bench, and Durant really start to heat up. And Team USA ends up taking a slim lead in the break. So after being down after 1, they turn the tables, as Michael Scott says in The Office, and head into the half with a small lead. And Tatum and Durant just lead the way. Durant had a great game once again. In 28 minutes, he had 8 for 11, or he's 8 for 11 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 23 points. And as we talked about, Tatum had 27 points off the bench. So this is the quarter where really both of them started to get going. And especially, again, for those of you who don't know, neither of us watched the game in real time today. We saw the highlights, but it looked like the team just developed an amount of trust in Tatum, Durant, and kept on feeding them the ball, and clearly it was paying off. And bigger reason why we took the lead in the break.
Yeah, just them feeding them the ball was just the best idea they could have done. Just finally, they found the person with the hot hand. I'm just nervous that it's going to take later and later into the games for them to find out who that person with the hot hand is in these progressing games that are just gonna get harder. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. I don't know. This is a good sign, though. This is a really good sign that they're ready for these types of games and that Popovich can coach in that type of play style. But I don't know, Davey. What if nobody has the hot hand? What if they're all just playing terribly? What happens then? What happens then? It's literally over.
If we can't shoot well, we're going to lose. I mean, it's scary how one-dimensional this team is, but
it's bad.
At the same time, I take comfort in knowing that these are literally the best players in the world, not only just the best players in the NBA, but the best players in the world. So even if 2 people on the team have bad nights, there's a 3rd and a 4th option who could easily be the top 1 and 2 option in the championship team in the NBA. So if we keep going down the list, like in the first game against France, and just everyone is having off nights, we're definitely screwed, and we're not even going to get a medal. But we got depth pretty much.
Yeah, it's insane though that actually I didn't think that could happen. That every single one of them could have a bad night, but it did. Well, except Drew Holiday, which is weird. That how is Drew Holiday the only one having a good night? But it's good to know that. I mean, you can out of anybody you can count on him. Maybe you can even count on JaVale McGee. We don't know. Maybe should JaVale McGee get more time? I think the most he's gotten is 5 minutes so far.
Perfect. We'll talk about him in the fourth quarter, but for sure, definitely. I mean, I think I mentioned it just a few minutes ago. 10 points in 4 minutes. I mean, Popovich, give him more minutes. Which is 4 for 4. Weird. It's weird for both of us coming around on him because we both were like, "Why the heck is he on this Olympic team?" But he's doing well.
Yeah, good for him.
Heading into the second half, third quarter specifically, Durant continues to lead the way offensively, and everyone on the Team USA starts to join on the three-point parade. Middleton, Drew Holiday, even Draymond Green, I believe, at least had 1 3-pointer. Oh, he had 2. So,
I didn't realize 2.
When Draymond Green's hitting 3-pointers, it's a good day.
It's good.
We started locking down the Czech Republic defensively. We were frustrating them. So instead of them relying on these inside buckets, we forced them to their weakness, which is jumpers. And they kept on missing those. Team USA also did a good job attacking the rim and getting good looks in the paint. And because of all this, we took a big lead in the fourth quarter. I think like a 17-point lead.
Yeah. And the points, just from there, just watching those highlights, it just felt like a TikTok, just watching the points, it slowly just went up and up and up. And then all of a sudden they were just up 35. And I was like, what just happened here? And it literally was a 3 parade, though. It just raining threes over and over and over. I want to know how many 3-pointers they actually made. Hold on. I think I remember the announcer saying they made like 20. Oh, yeah, 20. 20 for 42.
Almost 50%. So literally we either made the 3 or missed the 3. Like it wasn't really skewed in one direction or not. That's ridiculous. But that's what we expect from Team USA.
Yeah, exactly. And
a team built on just perimeter shooters should be shooting like 60%. But
exactly. We need them to be shooting 60%.
We should be winning by 40, not 25.
The fact that they were up that much, though, that felt great. It felt good to see. It was like a nice pillow that we have in the Olympics. The fact that if we can shoot one night, we win. That's it. We already won if we can shoot.
And with this game, Durant, with his 23 points, passed Carmelo Anthony for the most points scored in Team USA basketball play in Olympic history.
Really? Oh, wow. He's played 3 Olympics?
Yep. 12, 16, and 20.
Wow. That's
or
crazy.
20, 21.
So LeBron only did 08 and 2012?
I believe so. Yep. He wasn't on the 16 team. So, yeah, Durant passed Melo, and after the game, he said Tatum was going to be the one to pass him, which is a great compliment coming from one of the top 3 players in the NBA and Durant.
He might honestly pass him in this series.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that. That would require Tatum to do what he did with the Celtics this year, which is just put the whole team on his back and drop 50 to 60 points a game. But you never know with Jason Tatum, the 19-year-old king.
You never know. I hope so. That would be awesome to see.
So this game was almost over after 3, but you never know with just a 17-point lead. Any team can really, make a quick run and come back. But in the fourth, Tatum made sure that didn't happen as he put the game on ice. He literally couldn't miss a 3. He kept on taking threes, sidestep jumpers, his typical signature moves, and he just couldn't miss. Levine joined the fun. He had 13 points off the bench. And as we said, JaVale McGee really impressed in 10 minutes or in 4 minutes, just taking it to the hoop, 10 points. Play him more minutes, Popovich.
It's like,
especially when someone like Bam Adebayo didn't get the job done today.
That's like a perfect game. Just 4 minutes, getting 10 points. You can't ask for better efficiency at that point. Like you basically just put him out there. He just did his job, and that's it. 4 minutes in and out, which that makes me really think: is Popovich does not care about stats whatsoever. What is it? What is it that motivates him to put players in and out? Like, what did JaVale do to get him to be like, all right, get out of here? Like, did he have that many fouls? Did he even have a single foul? He didn't have a single foul.
He didn't have a single foul, which is literally, as you said, perfect. I mean, he missed a free throw, but perfect in 4 minutes. 10 points, nearly 11.
He took him out. He was like, I don't need you for points. I need you for rebounds. That was it.
And he's a big body because Bam Adebayo, well, he's the better player, Bam is. He's only 6'10" or 6'9". He's undersized for a center. JaVale McGee is 7 foot, and if he's giving you great efficiency in 4 minutes, imagine what he can do in 20 minutes. I'm not saying he should start, but I think he should be a bigger focal point off the bench.
Definitely. And he would be great on defense, too, because
absolutely.
I mean, against these other teams, he would just absolutely dominate the paint and just the blocks. He would just cook up in the paint, basically. Like, why isn't Popovich doing this? We need to get him on the phone.
Oh yeah, he has an open invite. I doubt he will come on, but you never know. Maybe we'll have an
invite.
Right, maybe he'll come on at the end of the Olympic run when hopefully Team USA wins another gold medal. But if you didn't know already, I believe we even said this too. Team USA wins this game that happened this morning, 119-84. Tatum put the game away in the fourth quarter, as I said. Durant led the way too. And there's just another fun game. You had contributions from a lot of people. McGee, 10 off the bench. Levine, 13, as I said. Middleton, 8. Draymond Green, 8. Perfect shooting from Draymond. Drew Holiday, 11 points, too.
Mm-hmm.
Just another fun game. But still not satisfied because this team can do a lot better.
Yeah, it can. I mean,
and we're not saying that to be cocky, but this team can be better.
It was more satisfying. It gets more satisfying each game, but I'm not fully satisfied yet. Is probably the best way to put it. Like, even though they won, it was a great game. Don't get me wrong. They played a great game, but that can't be their best. Because even though they won by so much and they did so great, some players still just did not do their greatest. Like, they're still, like, everyone needs to step up. This is the Olympics. Like, it can't be, the Damian Lillard can't be scoring 8 points, and Devin Booker, I mean, they can't be giving him 10 minutes. JaVale McGee, if someone's going off, feed the hot hand. It applies to the role players too, not just to the stars as well. Like Drew Holiday too, give him the ball more. You can rely on a lot of these players, but if the players that you want to rely on aren't stepping up, that's what I'm scared of.
If every player on this team does well, we're literally going to win every game by 50.
Exactly.
We're losing, or I keep saying losing. We're winning when we have only 2 20-point scorers and a bunch of other people who didn't score more than 15. We're winning these games by 25. Imagine if we have, 4 people scoring 20 points and then another 3 or 2 people scoring 15 and the rest like 5 to 10 points. We're going to win by way more is my point. I just took a weird way of explaining that, but we're going to win by like 30 or 40 points. So if everyone can just be on their A game, there's no stopping this team. And I don't care which we're about to get into, but I don't care if you face Luka Doncic in Slovenia, which might happen. We're going to win.
Actually, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Have you looked at the other games that Slovenia has played?
What's going on? Thanks for supporting. Welcome, Mad
Sweep at 1,000.
I haven't looked at Slovenia, but what I'm going to say is with the win, thankfully USA clinched a berth in the quarterfinals or the knockout stage, and they're joining, I have it right here. They're joining France, Australia, and the winner of Sunday's game between Slovenia and Spain as the top 4 seeds for Tuesday's quarterfinals.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So we finished in our group. We finished behind France in the standings because France went 3-0 and we went 2-1. But we were a second seed, so we were able to move on based on the format.
Oh, okay. Nice. Great. Good for the US. They need to. They need to. If they didn't, this would just be the biggest disappointment in the Olympics. Just probably be the biggest disappointment in the US for the Olympics in years. I don't know. Can't remember something else that was that would be that much of a disappointment. Like we expected the team to do so well, and they just performed so poorly. Also, I'm looking at Slovenia right now, like against Japan.
Our matchup and the quarterfinals will be decided by a draw on Sunday night. So
Draw.
after Slovenia and Spain's game, our matchup is literally being left up to chance. But we'll take a second to go over each of the other team's rosters if you want to do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we'll go over France first. France obviously beat us in the first game, not by a decent margin. They were really able to frustrate Team USA, obviously leading the way, especially in that game. But for Team France as a whole, is Evan Fournier, past season Celtic, current free agent in the NBA. He had 28 in the game against Team USA, and he's averaging 17 points per game in this tournament. Other NBA players, also another former Celtic, Vincent Poirier, has 9 points. Rudy Gobert, all-star for the Jazz, has almost 9 points and 8 rebounds per game. Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot is another NBA player, 7 points. Batum, nearly 8 points. Frank Ntilikina, 3 points. And then Gershon Yabusele, former Celtic, is averaging 4 points. So just a lot of NBA connections there on Team France. How do you think USA would do against them in a round 2 game?
Honestly,
or a rematch, I should say.
All right, let's say they're having a good shooting night. I honestly feel like that it'd still be a close game. Like they need to play well to beat that team. It's a very underrated. Like France, that's a very underrated team. They have a lot of NBA talent and just a lot of depth to the team. It's Rudy Gobert too. It's just they mismatch the US's team so much where they're just like so dominant in the paint, and they're just, I don't know. I feel like the shooting, if they had good shooting, everybody would have to step up. It would be like a game like last night. I feel like Damian Lillard playing poorly and everyone else playing well would not cut it against that team. What do you think, though?
For sure. I mean, we saw that happen in the first game where we struggled statistically, and we just let Evan Fournier, of all people, go off. Not only was he hitting perimeter shots, but he was taking it right to the rim. Even a player who hasn't been in the NBA in a couple of years, ex-Celtic Gershon Yabusele, was getting great shots right near the rim. So we definitely have to be on our A game. It's going to be tough to stop people like Fournier. It's going to be tough to attack the rim against someone like Gobert, who is an excellent shot blocker and defender. So I think it just goes back to us, continuing to dust off the cobwebs and just hit our shots, which is what we're supposed to do as Team USA. So if we can do that, it's really not going to matter what people like Fournier are going to be able to do. I think we would still win handily. But again, it all comes down to just having a great shooting night, because that's just the blessing and the curse of Team USA is how good we can shoot the ball, but also the fact that that's the only thing we can do is also a curse, as we've said multiple times. If that's not going our way, then nothing will go our way.
Yeah, then if that's not going our way, we're literally screwed. We've lost.
I still like our chances in the sense that if we face them again, it's great because we have some film to look at. Or Greg Popovich can pull up some film and we can just critique some things. And it's highly unlikely that lightning would strike twice when you have a group of the best players in the world and arguably one of the best coaches in the history of sports on your side. So Team France is pretty good and they're putting up a good fight, but I genuinely, no disrespect to them or any of the French viewers of my channel, I just don't see them beating Team USA twice.
Oh, really?
I think Team USA is, even though they got our number the first time, I think Team USA is going to get the job done the second time if we end up facing them again.
You got a lot of faith in the team that I don't have. I don't have the same faith in this team. I don't know what it is. They scare me so much. They just seem so inconsistent to me.
Oh no, that's completely fair. I'm not saying like I'm all in on this team after what I've seen the last couple of games, but it's clear they're working with their strengths and just playing to their strengths, and it's working out.
Yeah, it's working out pretty well, which is it's nice to see. It's definitely nice to see in comparison to those scrimmage games. But wait, what other teams?
We're gonna go over all the potential ones for sure.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, just to answer your question. So France is a definite that's joining us in the
Mhm.
quarterfinals. Spain is also the other certain team. So on Spain's roster, the only NBA players that we both know on this team are Ricky Rubio, who's the current point guard for the Timberwolves, the Gasol brothers. Pau Gasol is retired, but Marc Gasol was with the Lakers.
Mhm.
Willie Hernan-Gomez is on the Pelicans. And then 2 retired NBA players, and Alex Abrinas and Rudy Fernandez. So I don't know like the statistics for how well some of their players are doing in the tournament, but
Mhm.
I do know someone like Ricky Rubio is a great facilitator. He did that with Minnesota. He can score. He can pass the ball. He's kind of a triple-double threat. And obviously the Gasol brothers have been great. They still got it, even though they're both approaching
Yeah.
40. They're both big in size. I mean, it's kind of a mismatch, even though they're old, against someone like a Bam Adebayo, maybe even a JaVale McGee. So they could have a number in that aspect, but they don't scream like an amazing shooting team to me. But I don't know any of their like Spanish-based players could probably be good shooters. But again, I still like Team USA.
I feel like that team, although I don't see them beating us, I still feel like that's a pretty solid team. Just Ricky Rubio, the Gasol brothers, like they know basketball. Like they're good basketball players. So I feel like we shouldn't count them out too much and expect it to be like a crazy blowout. But I still have seeing like a good 10-point win if we were to go up against them, at least 10 points.
So us two talking about basketball, but on this channel and also over on Spotify Green Room, I do talk about baseball, and I will be bringing back football talk, and I've also done hockey talk. So it's just basically, to answer your question, Layla, just talking about what's hot right now. Obviously, the Olympics are going on. We're both fans of basketball, and Olympic basketball is a big thing in the Summer Olympics, so we're just talking about that. But once football season starts again, we'll talk about football too. Baseball is going on too, and I have a co-host with me to talk about that. And once hockey comes back too, or if there's any news in the offseason, then I'll just talk about that for sure. So just stay on the lookout for all different types of sports content. But nothing wrong with a comment about that. It's an excellent question.
Mostly basketball from Carter. That's the only sport I know a decent amount of. I'm hoping to learn more about football this year though, and baseball.
If you like gaming, check out Carter's channel. Link in the description.
Of course.
Help him get to 2K by the end of the summer.
Thank you.
So I just looked up Spain's stats, and Ricky Rubio is actually having a fantastic tournament. He's averaging 23 points, 6.5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds per game. So
I think he got traded, didn't he, to the Cavs?
He might have.
I think it was.
But for Spain, he's doing really well, and I think if Team USA can shut down him, there's no real way that Spain can win, because he seems like he's literally facilitating the whole offense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's definitely setting up the Gasol brothers. It's definitely the dynamic duo out there, the Gasol brothers, Ricky Rubio.
And Pau Gasol is only playing 16 minutes a game, and he's averaging 9 points and 6 rebounds. Marc Gasol is playing 20 minutes a game, 7 points, almost 5 rebounds, or almost 5 assists, and almost 4 rebounds. So they got something left in the tank, but this isn't like the 30-year-old and 32-year-old Pau and Marc Gasol that we've been accustomed to before. So
yeah,
I just think I'm picking USA again. I think they got what it takes, and I think they really could take it to them. But if you let Ricky Rubio get going, it's going to be a lot closer than you'd like it if you're Popovich and Team USA. But if you can shut down Rubio, Team USA could beat Spain by like 30.
30? Oh, wow.
I think so. I mean, I'm being bold today.
Okay, so you think it's one of those blowout teams. Okay, yeah, you are being bold with these predictions. Okay, I see.
And I could eat my words. It's just, I want to entertain some people, and, don't want to just say, oh, this Team USA, Kevin Durant, this guy sucks. He's going to make us win like nail biters. That's just me.
But no, I definitely see Spain being a team that we beat, but I don't see it being a blowout. I see it by being like a small 10-point, no more than 15-point margin, I'd say.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
Hey, it's good that we disagree sometimes. It'd be boring if we always agreed on everything.
Oh, yeah.
So Australia is another team who will definitely be there. And Patty Mills, Joe Ingles, Uncle Joe, former Celtic Aaron Baines, Dante Exum, 76er Matisse Thybulle, and Matthew Dellavedova are the names that I recognize from the NBA.
Mhm.
And Patty Mills is having an excellent tournament, which is crazy because I think he's in his like late 30s with the Spurs, but he's averaging 22 points per game, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds, and nearly 35 minutes a game. He's going off.
Yeah, it's a scary team. We lost to them the first game. It was Australia,
France.
right? Yeah, we lost to them the first game, and then in the scrimmage we also lost to them.
Oh right, yes. So we lost to France in the first game, but Australia in the scrimmage.
Oh yeah, it's a scrimmage game. Yeah, but I don't know. That team looked pretty good too. The fact that they're just cooking on the U.S. like that, even though the U.S. was still going through their troubling times, it was the beginning, the roots of the troubling times in the Olympics. I still feel like Australia. I still think they could beat the U.S. It's going to be close. It's going to be literally, I think, 1 or 2 or 3 points like difference.
You might as well call me Mr. Red, White, and Blue because I'm going USA again.
USA again.
This team is playing well, but if you stack them up against the USA, like they could keep it close. I mean, Matisse Thybulle's an excellent player, young defender, but outside of him, everyone's all their contributors, it seems like, are. I mean, I don't know any of their Australian players, but all the NBA players are either approaching 30 or already on the wrong side of 30. I just think the young guns at Team USA are going to take them to town.
Just them beating them for like already just during the scrimmage, I just feel like that definitely made the team made Australia not nearly as intimidated as the US, like of the US, as all the other teams are probably that haven't gone against them. And it's just going to give them that edge that I feel like the game's just going to stay super close and like they're just going to not let this game get away. And I mean, do I see the U.S. winning the game? Like, yes, I see them both winning the game, but I see it being like down to the wire. Like that's a real down to the wire game for me.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening too. It's hard for me to pick any team over the U.S., but if I would pick a team over the U.S., that's the one I'm going to be talking about right now, this country, Slovenia. With Luka Doncic, who is averaging 36.5 points during this tournament, 6 assists and 9 rebounds in only 28.5 minutes. They also have Klemen Prepelic, who's clearly a Slovenian-based player. I don't recognize him from the NBA. 17 points per game, 3.5 assists and 4 rebounds in 22 minutes. And Zoran Dragic, who's averaging 15.5 points, and Vlado Kankar, who's averaging 14 points. So they have 4 people, Carter, who are averaging at least double-digit points per game. That's pretty scary because I think the general consensus is that Luka is carrying this team on their back. But if Slovenia is able to get past Spain tomorrow night and we potentially have to face them at some point in this tournament, it's not just Luka we have to worry about. They got more threats, more targets, more options.
They got multiple star powers with that. On paper, they're doing better than the U.S. There's not that many people averaging over 20 points in the U.S. That's pretty insane.
So I'm assuming we'll be similar in our predictions here, but I definitely like the USA's chances in the sense I think they're talented or more talented than Slovenia. But this is going to be a close game. I think the USA, it's going to be like a 10-point decision in favor of USA because Luka Magic is just going to keep it close.
You're saying US is going to win by 10 points?
5 to 10 points is what I'm saying.
Once again, I honestly see. So if this round, and they lose to Slovenia this round, and they don't make it to the next round, no medal?
No medal, we're done.
And so they have to. How many games do they have to win in this round? Just 2?
I think so. I think these are the final 4 teams left. Final 5 teams left. Because it's us, France, Australia, and then the winner of Spain and Slovenia.
Okay.
So that's 4 teams left. So we only need to win 2 games.
Okay, so I don't know. Against Slovenia, it's going to be tough, Davey. It's tough.
Oh, absolutely.
That's tough. I'm going to see. I'm saying one team. I really don't know which team is going to be. One team is going to come out the gates steaming. They're going to just get this huge lead, and then it's just all going to go away, and then the other team is just going to come back and win. But which team is it going to be? I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I really don't. It could go either way. It really could. But if I had to put my money on it, put my money on Slovenia.
Wow.
Putting it on Slovenia.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take right there. But I'm saying Slovenia is going to win that game.
I will say, though, it's definitely something to keep in mind that Luka Doncic has spent the last 3 years playing at least 2 to 4 times a season against a lot of these players on Team USA. So he knows a lot of their strengths and weaknesses. So look out. And you don't think he's telling that to his teammates? For sure he is. So that's a weakness for Team USA already if we ever have to encounter Luka.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
And what he's doing is amazing for Slovenia. Even if they fall short of getting a medal, I mean, the fact that they even qualified for the first time in their country's history just because of the way Luka's playing is ridiculous. Him scoring 48 in the first game, second most in the Olympic debut. Incredible.
That's insane.
Crazy
That's
run.
really That's crazy for the country.
And they're averaging 117 points per game, and their opponents, they're only giving up 90.5 points per game to their opponents, Slovenia. So this seems like the strongest adversary to Team USA, in my opinion.
100%. This is going to be their strongest.
As a fan of basketball, I'm sure you can agree with me on this. I genuinely hope this is a matchup because I think this will be a great game.
Yeah, I hope this game is just really close the entire game. I just want it to be like a nail-biting game where it's just going to come down to like one shot. But
Damian Lillard's going to hit a buzzer beater.
That'd be nice to see. I don't even know. This game is just going to be. I don't know. It's like Slovenia, just them having that many players over 20 points, averaging over 20 points a game. That's just unreal to me. It's just the question is, can they score those points against the U.S. players?
That's another thing.
It's going to reveal if those players are actually 20 points per game, actual type players.
So if the viewers didn't get the memo by now, I'm essentially picking Team USA over everyone to win the gold medal. But the toughest task, if it happens, in my opinion, will be beating Slovenia. But I like our chances. I know it's been an up and down roller coaster ride for Team USA so far in the Olympics, losing their first game since 2004 in Olympic play against France, but they rebounded with 2 nice victories. And there are 2 more wins to go to get a gold medal. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Let's hope. Gotta cross our fingers.
Hope they keep doing well. Next game is... When is it? Next game. Great question. Let's see, Google. No, they played today, the 31st. It's going to be August 3rd.
August 3rd. Oh, wow. A few days
so,
from now. Okay.
August 3rd is the men's quarterfinals. August 5th is the semifinals. And then the 6th is the gold medal game. So, instead of 2 wins, I guess we need 3 wins to get a gold medal. But, you know, two wins down, 3 more to go. And hopefully Team USA can get it done.
Hopefully USA gets the dub. Exactly.
Perfect timing, Mad Sweet 5,000. Thank you for the support.
Exactly.
Alrighty, everyone. That is going to do it for this recap. I want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure you hit that like button and absorb that subscribe button. There will be more Team USA recaps coming as this Olympic tournament almost comes to an end. Hopefully it ends with Team USA winning a gold medal. But if you like this, we're going to have more content of this coming soon. As I said earlier, more Patriots content will be coming, Celtics, Red Sox, and Bruins content. So look forward for all that in the future. Let's get to 50 subscribers. Hopefully by tonight we're at 49. So why not? You know, if you're just out there and you haven't subscribed yet, all I need is 1 more. So let's just get to 59 or 50 subscribers by 11:59. There we go, Carter. And get this man to 2K subscribers by tomorrow night. Let's up the deadline a bit, up the ante. His link is in the description below, so make sure to check out his channel too. Carter, thank you for continuing to do these recaps with me.
Of course, anytime.
And we will be talking to you guys after the men's quarterfinal game. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Take care.